We will now call to order the meeting of the Muskogee Municipal Authority for April 12th, 2021. Roll call.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Here.
Ivory Van.
Here.
Jamie Stout.
Here.
Evelyn Hibbs.
Here.
Alex Reynolds.
Here.
Stephanie Morgan.
Here.
Tracy McGee.
Here.
Tracy Hoos.
Here.
Item number 1.
Consider approval of MMA minutes of March 8, 2021.
Do we have any corrections to the minutes?
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion. Roll call.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes. Item number 2.
Consider approval of MMA claims for the month ending March 31, 2021.
I hope we've had time to review the claims. Do we have any questions?
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there anything further on the claims, Mr. Miller?
No, sir. Staff recommends approval.
Roll call.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Abstain.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes. That concludes the Muskogee Municipal Authority meeting. We will now call to order the Muskogee City Council meeting for April 12th, 2021. Roll call.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Here.
Ivory Van.
Here.
Jamie Stout.
Here.
Evelyn Hibbs. Alex Reynolds.
Here.
Stephanie Morgan.
Here.
Tracy McGee.
Here.
Tracy Hoos.
Here.
We are all accounted for. We will now recognize Linda Gray as the April 2021 Employee of the Month. Because of my ongoing sinus drain, I'm going to ask that the clerk, city clerk, Ms. Tracy, will read Ms. Gray's accomplishments so that we may properly acknowledge her at this time.
The April 2021 Employee of the Month is Linda Gray. Linda has worked for the City of Muskogee in the Parks and Recreation Department as a Maintenance Worker 2 since March 2004. Linda has worked exclusively in this position throughout her 17-year career with the city. Linda was nominated for the Employee of the Month for taking care of the City of Muskogee parks and public areas with pride and a good attitude. She is very conscientious when it comes to the facilities being maintained and clean. Linda's politeness and can-do attitude and work ethic are reflected in her daily work of cleaning public park facilities and in her interaction with the citizens that visit our parks daily. When Linda encounters a problem that needs to be addressed with a facility, she gets it reported so that it can be fixed. Without even being asked, she will work her schedule around events going on in the city, even giving up her weekends when needed. Linda gets along very well with everyone and is a source of encouragement to all when it is needed. Linda states that the part of her job that she enjoys the most is talking to the people that come into our parks, especially senior citizens. She builds ongoing relationships with the park's patrons and gives kind words and pats on the back to those that she encounters. Linda's knowledge, experience, and great personality are continuously helping the city achieve excellence every day. Linda is a born and raised Muskogee native. Prior to working for the City of Muskogee, one of the jobs that Linda held was working for the famous Slick's Barbecue as a waitress, and she had the opportunity to meet famous people that would sometimes drop in to eat. One person that she had the opportunity to meet was LaWanda Page, who played Aunt Esther on the TV series Sanford and Son. Linda enjoys and spends a lot of her time working, and at times when has worked as many as 3 jobs at one time. When she is not busy working, she enjoys relaxing and watching TV. Linda has 1 daughter, 1 son, and 2 grandchildren that she enjoys spending time with when she can. When told that she had been selected as Employee of the Month, Linda stated, "I am tickled pink. This made my day. Linda, we are proud of your accomplishments with the city and look forward to your future successes. Congratulations from all of us at the City of Muskogee for being named the April 2021 Employee of the Month."
Please join us in celebration. At this time, please join us for the invocation to be led by Councilor Tracy McGee, followed by the flag salute.
Let us bow our hearts and minds for a moment of prayer. Heavenly Father Yahweh, thank you for your grace and your mercy. Thank you for allowing us to assemble tonight to do the business of our city. Father, guide us in the right direction. Give us understanding. Cause us to work as one body. Cause us to know that you are the way. We give all thanks in your Son, Yahshua Messiah, for our salvation. Let us all say hallelujah.
Please join me in the flag salute at this time. Attention, salute, pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For the sake of public recording, we will follow the agenda as printed. Roll call.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Here.
Ivory Van.
Here.
Jamie Stout.
Here.
Evelyn Hibbs. Here. Alex Reynolds.
Here.
Stephanie Morgan.
Here.
Tracy McGee.
Here.
Tracy Hoos.
Here.
We'll now consider approval of the minutes of the City Council regular session for March 22nd.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or correction to the minutes? Roll call.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes. We will now consider the consent agenda, which consists of items 1 through 9. Are there any items that a councilor would like to move to the regular agenda at this time?
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Further discussion? Roll call.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
The consent agenda item is approved. We will move to the regular agenda item. However, the applicant for item number 10 has withdrawn their application, and we will move on to number 11.
Consider approval of ordinance number 4119A, amending the City of Muskogee Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 2, Administration, Article 5, Boards and Commissions, Division 2, Section 2-155, created, composition, appointment, and qualifications of members, modifying appointment procedure to comport with the uniform appointment method, permitting 2 members to serve who are not residents of the city, providing for repeal or severability and setting an effective date, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Tucker.
Yes, Mayor, members of the council, at our committee meeting last week, staff was directed to bring forth an ordinance to modify the membership qualifications of the members of the airport board. Specifically, it was to allow 2 at-large positions of the 7-member board to serve from outside the city limits, specifically within Muskogee County. So we have prepared ordinance 4119-A for your consideration. Within that section, there are 2 changes. One, we modified the provision for appointment to be, instead of a mayoral appointment with the approval of council, to be a provision in accordance with City Code -136, which is the uniform appointment method, which we have used for a number of years, where each member of the city council receives an appointment. So that change is affected by this ordinance. Secondly, as I stated earlier, we have allowed 2 positions to serve at large, which means that they can come from Muskogee County. They are not restricted for residency within the city limits if they show either a substantial interest in the airport through frequent use or an ownership interest in 1 or more hangars. As you recall, the current chairman, I believe, of the committee, Ms. Perlene Boyota-Craig, spoke in favor of this, indicating the need to recognize the contributions of those who use the airport for serving in its advisory capacity for any changes in operations or capital improvements and things of that nature. And her comments were supported from Drew Saffel, who is our airport board manager. Both of those individuals are here tonight if you have any questions outside of what I can address. But with that, and based upon the action from the committee, I do recommend approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Tucker. Do we have any discussion from the council? Or a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion, okay.
Move for.
I'll make a motion to approve this ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes. Item number 12.
Discuss and take action regarding the proposed medical marijuana use policy and permit request as it relates to the amended marijuana ordinance permitting certain events on city property.
Mr. Miller.
Yes, Mayor, members of council, you directed staff to come up with, and the Parks Board to come up with some proposed rules for the use of medical marijuana for events, for medical marijuana events at public places, which are available for rent. And so those have been provided to you in March. At that time, the council tabled those. We've had informal feedback, and what you have before you is a new set of rules, just slightly modified based off of the feedback that we've received in the last month or so. The agenda item was tabled until today. So what you have before you really narrows the scope, defining a medical marijuana event more specifically as an exposition, which meets the following criteria. Number one, it's open to the public, regardless of entry fee. Number two, is held primarily for educational purposes, where at least 70% of the exposition programming is devoted to the presentation of scientific, agricultural, or pharmacological research, methods, findings, or uses. And three, is expected to be attended by no less than 50 individuals. They've also been a slight change, increasing the distance from a city building to 50 feet, where a use of medical marijuana via smoking can be done. Also included the exact locations of such city facilities where the events can be permitted. Those locations being Honor Heights Pavilion and / event lawn, the Honor Heights Amphitheater, Hatbox Field, and the south parking lot of the Civic Center, which is between 4th and 5th Street, bounded by Columbus Street on the south. That parking lot area would only be allowed as a medical marijuana event location if they'd rented the Civic Center arena as well, to limit the possibility of there being multiple events at once. So these are our proposed rules. They are council rules, so they are up for your debate and discussion. Staff has brought these forward at your request, and I'll leave it open to you, Mayor, and the council to debate and decide what to do next.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have further discussion from the council?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, may I be recognized?
Yes, Mr. Van.
Just one moment. Oops. I'm about to. On this item here, I know we voted back in November to have marijuana here in Muskogee at our parks. At one park in particular, we talked about Hatbox, but it has moved on. Now we're talking about having all of these events, and we're talking about having a tent where we can medicate. So I just got through medicating myself. I normally medicate at night, but I got 5 pills up here I take every single day to keep me going. And this is my medication. And when I leave this council tonight, I don't have to worry about the police pulling me over, because this medication is legal for me to drive. So on this proposal and all the rule changes we have here, I disagree with them. I went to the deal down the Arrowhead Mall, and I think you've done a wonderful job, Tracy, Councilman McGee. But I just, like I say, only thing the part where we have education, I think that should be 100%. Everybody needs to know about that plan. And for as the tent that day, I couldn't believe the way that tent was set up. It's supposed to have been 25 feet away from the door, and y'all had to take it down. And for one person going in there medicating, it's just, when you open it, I didn't see any ventilation on the tent. You correct me if I'm wrong. Because when you go in that tent and you medicate with that marijuana, you're going to have to open the tent up. And all that smoke is going to come out. Also, like the recreation, like Councilman Reynolds, he wants people to come here, bands and different things, into our parks. And I just can't see that either. I don't mind bands and stuff coming to the parks, but I just, as a councilman and as a person, as a citizen with values, I just can't see marijuana being in our parks. This is Councilman Ivory Van. I can't see the smoke, and you will, I don't care what nobody say, because I got the experience of it. You will get a contact around this stuff. And I know we had an event here in Muskogee, and I'm not trying to get off topic, but just right down the street. We didn't know nothing about it as a council, a mayor, or whatever. And it's a shame the way that went on. So I see you got rules here tonight. And what happened to me was when I went to a specific event, I did get a contact. And I got home, I got a headache, I slept for 2 hours. And I had 2 masks on. One, this N95, and another one under this. And I seen people just smoking. Midair, children all around. That was wrong. They violated our city rules. They definitely violated state rules. Another thing, when we go have these things in the park, when you get this so-called tent, or ever what kind of tent we're gonna get, it's just, the tent itself, when you get out of that tent, and you stay in there for, say, an hour, just one person, that's too long, way too long. I'm just saying, I don't know how long a person medicates, but what I'm saying is, one thing that really gets me is, when you leave the tent, and the many people that go in the tent, if they're driving, they have no right to get behind that wheel to drive. Alcohol, you can go 0.5 and be okay. 0.8, you can't. I'm like you, Councilman Reynolds. I don't care for anyone that drinks and drives, that will kill people, because it happens every single day. And that's what I'm afraid as a city. As a city, we're up here telling people to come to our parks and go, with the conferences, and the concerts is all right. But I don't want it myself personally. I don't want no marijuana on the premises. Because when they leave and they do have this stuff in their system, it slows their reaction. That's been proven at the airport on a deal we done here on the council years ago when this stuff first came here. And I hate to be the one, and I'm not going to be the one. It'll pass tonight. That's fine. But at least one thing I can say I did. I tried my best. Because I'd hate to see when someone, after they leave our civic center, our parks, and they drive off and kill a little kid, kill an adult, which can't happen because you're not supposed to drive with this stuff in your system. You're not supposed to get behind the wheel. And I got 2 city attorneys in here, and I know they know the law. And if they tell me I'm wrong, I'd like for them to tell me I'm wrong. Am I wrong, Roy?
For the most part, I would say you're accurate with what you've said, yes.
That right there, if nothing else come out of this meeting from Ivory Van tonight, I'll wash my hands of this and these rules, and I will not have anything on my conscience, on my record up here as a city councilman voting for something like this. This right here is something that no other city in the state of Oklahoma has. Like I said, my daughter has a sister that lives in Washington, D.C. She's a PhD. She's a research doctor. She say they have these events up there, but they're recreational and medical. But for smoking on the facilities in Maryland, no, sir. Money has ruined the world. Evil has ruined the world. And this is what I call evil. I know it's coming. Even like you said, Councilman Reynolds, we talked the other day, it's going to be recreational one day. But today is not that day. Those people can stay home and do just like I do every night. I did this for a demonstration night. You know I'm good at prompts. This is true because I have to take all this every single night before I go to bed for my heart. So, and for my colleagues up here, I have nothing against anybody because when we leave here, you know where we're going. We're going home and enjoy our families, and we're going home and have a nice day and have a beautiful week. But that's just Ivory Van's point of view. So, Mr. Mayor, with that being said, I don't want no part of these rules. I don't want no part of marijuana in our parks, and I'll wash my hands of it. I'll turn the floor back over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Van.
I have a comment.
Any further discussion from the council?
I do have a comment as well. I would just like to express my position on it, and I don't want anyone out there who has medical marijuana license, and that's what we as a council need to make sure that we are stressing. If there is a no vote, it's not that we are against anyone that has to use medical marijuana. We support medical marijuana. We have, over the last couple of weeks, we have talked about the financial impact that we've received from the medical marijuana. That comes from our dispensaries. We have dispensaries almost on every corner, and that's where the money's coming from. It's not coming from any event that has been passed, events, and we still will get this amount of money because of the amount of dispensaries that we have in our city. But I just think as a council that we understand what we're doing in our city parks, in our Honor Heights Park, our place where we have as our tourist destination, where people come to see our azaleas and our azalea festivals right next to the pavilion. In Honor Heights Park, where they come and see our lights. In Honor Heights Park at our amphitheater, we are inviting conventions to come. Now, if they go on private property, they're welcome to do so. They can still come to Muskogee and go to private properties and do these things, but as a city council and as city councilors, we are responsible for what happens on city properties. And so I'm voting no, and I just want to make it clear to anyone out there that I'm not voting no because I'm against the medical marijuana. Those who use it, I know it does great things for those who have to use it, but as far as it being used on city properties, that's what we are responsible for, and that's what we are opening the door to for city properties, our civic center. You know, I understand we say it can be done in the back of the civic center, in the corner of a civic center, but it has multiple use every weekend, every time it's rented. And for a wedding reception to come into our civic center, for funeral repasts to come into our civic center, and then here's a cannabis event and a tent over there and people are smoking marijuana. That's what we're doing. We open the door to our city facilities, and that's why I'm voting no. And once again, nothing against medical marijuana, but as far as the city facilities in which we are the shepherds of, I am voting no because it shouldn't be allowed on these properties. You can do it on private properties. We've seen it done on private properties. If those conventions are coming, you know, we don't have no proof that there's any conventions that's trying to come to Muskogee to do any of these things at this point, and to say come on to Muskogee because you can smoke here. That's what we are saying today. Come to Muskogee. No place in the state of Oklahoma, but if you come to Muskogee, Oklahoma, I heard somebody make a joke the other day. We're going from being Okies from Muskogee to marijuana, Oklahoma, instead of Muskogee, Oklahoma. We're going to be marijuana, Oklahoma, and to me, that's embarrassing.
Do we have any further discussion from the council?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask the city attorney one question.
Yes.
The marijuana dispensary down on Country Club Road, you know, we used to be a come and go. Now, where the high school is, that's got to be more than, it's supposed to be 1,000, the school's supposed to be 1,000 foot, right? What is the distance from that to that school?
I couldn't tell you. Whenever they submit an application to OMMA, they have to submit a map that shows the distance, and without looking at their application, I wouldn't know the distance.
Because I would like to really know the distance. They don't look like 1,000 feet to me, but it's just, you know, I'm curious about it.
Yeah, and I don't know that we would have received that information, because if they have their OMMA license from the state where they submit that, then we grant them the city license as well. So we don't require them to reapply under the same requirements, because if OMMA has already verified the information, then we take that and we issue them their license.
Okay, thank you. Turn the floor back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Tracy Hoos,
No.
Tracy McGee,
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan,
Yes.
Alex Reynolds,
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs,
Yes.
Jamie Stout,
No.
Ivory Van,
Most definitely no.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed,
No.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
We have 4 noes, 5 yeses.
The item passes. Item number 13.
Consider the appointment of Tracy Cole to the War Memorial Trust Authority to serve a 3-year term, filling the expired term of Victor Lazama, beginning April 1, 2021, and ending February 29, 2024, or take other necessary action.
Councilor McGee.
I need to withdraw that, Mayor.
Yes, ma'am. Item number 14.
Receive report on city emergency projects arising from the winter storm event of February 2021 and take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller.
Yes, and I'm looking around for our little remote control. Thank you, Mr. Tucker. You're very kind. So as you all know, we had thank you, sir. We had in February really a record storm. We had an ice storm followed by 2 major snowstorms and a low temperature that reached in some parts of the area negative 20 plus degrees. So we had all kinds of things like you see on the screen, and it left us damaged as a community. And so the council took a lot of action that I want to applaud you for, allowing us to declare an emergency, allowing us to use some of our reserve funds to address these issues quickly. So I just want to give you a short status report. I'm going to give you a lot of information. I'll have a handout when we're done, so you guys will be able to examine it more closely. But just a quick overview. We do have damages at this point, more than $1.2 million. That was a question that was asked in the state of emergency, and I thought it might be up to $1 million. It's gotten higher, so I just wanted to inform you of that. We have 53 different purchase orders that we put in under that emergency, dealing with basically 3 different categories: facility damage, water line damage, and street damage. And so we're going to talk about all 3 of those. Several facilities were damaged. Our animal shelter had pipes burst, and a lot of doors and plumbing needed to be replaced. King Center, we had a burnout water heater, I believe. A lot of concessions work at Hatbox. I'll show you pictures there. Payment Center had water lines break, and you can see a whole long list there of other places that had leaks or issues caused by the extreme cold or the snow and ice. So here's some of the pictures of what we've done to fix it. The new heater at the King Center, Hatbox concession building, the reconstruction starting this week. Animal shelter, we've fixed a lot there, and we've got more to go. New tankless water heaters out at Hatbox to try and mitigate future damage as well. One of the major places that we had damage was at the Civic Center. So we had damage to our heat and cooling system right at a very bad time that caused the pipes to freeze, even more so than they might have otherwise. And so a lot of different pipes breaking, including our fire suppression system and our water service lines, and that resulted in damage to carpet, drop ceilings, arena floor, even wall damage. So our cost there could be $100,000 or even more as we're trying to get those things filed up. Here's some pictures of the damage in the water. Our staff did a very good job of limiting the amount of water damage, and once we knew that pipes were breaking. And so we're slowly but surely bringing this facility back online. I was able to be at the Civic Center Saturday for the high school band banquet, and that was a good event. And for the most part, if you were in the arena, you didn't know that these things had happened. We've got carpet in some of our meeting rooms that needs to be replaced. Here's a quick look at some of the emergency water line leak repairs. I'm not going to try and make you read all those, but I would have you look over here on February 19th. You'll see 40th and Okmulgee 1, 40th and Okmulgee 2, 40th and Okmulgee 3. On the 20th, you'll see 40th and Okmulgee 4. When you have old infrastructure, really cold weather, and these were during the very coldest times, right towards the beginning of the storm, they'd fix it, and the pipe would end up breaking just a little bit further down the line because it's old infrastructure. So I want to, we've thanked a lot of the water distribution crews at the time. That's probably the hardest job you can possibly imagine to do when it's about minus 10 degrees. And they did a lot of work, and we had a contractor that helped us out tremendously. Likewise, we had emergency street repairs. We've got a contractor. Here's a semi-exhaustive list. One thing I want to point out, Smith Ferry is, we were going to try and pave over the weekend, over the really, really terribly washed out sections that were really damaged by the storm. We had rain come through this weekend, so we had another storm mess up that replacement. We are going to try and work on that tomorrow. And so we didn't want to wait another week to another weekend. So that's what the contractor's working on. Here's a couple of things, or here's a long list of identified projects that we're working on with our street crews as well, with our in-house staff. So there's a couple on Country Club, one that's that's somewhat paved, another one that we've just done base work. So what we want to tell people is if you've had a street with storm damage, we want to know about it. We put it on this list, and we're going to get to it as fast as we can. And part of what we're trying to do today is show we may not have done the road right in front of your house that was storm damaged, but we've done a whole lot, and I want our council to understand that. I know they do. I want the public to understand that and give credit to our staff and our contractors who've reacted really in record time, in less than 60 days, getting the contract awarded and getting a lot of work done. So this is one overlay on Chestnut Street. This is an overlay on Summit from Eufaula to Enid. A major resurfacing on Shawnee that needed to be done because of storm damage. Likewise on Military from Azalea to 24th. We've got a couple that are still going on. We've got several that are still going on. We haven't got to everything that we need to get to, and this is just a progress update. Lastly, I want to tell you about what we're looking at moving forward. The council's done a wonderful job to let the city access reserve funds, but that's not our main goal, to use reserve funds. We've already been working with our insurance to let them cover what they will cover, especially to our facility damage. We do expect a reimbursement from them. We're also expecting reimbursement from FEMA for hopefully a lot of the infrastructure repair. And we won't know for a while what that is, but then that's what we've got the reserve fund to carry forward with the rest. So I did want to give you just that brief update that we are making progress as we look at that storm damage. We've done a whole lot in a little bit of time, and I'm very proud of our staff that worked. As you know, I gave you a lot of updates. They were working very long hours during the storm, and when they got done, they had even more work to do, right? When they got done trying to keep the streets passable, then we had to start fixing all the damage, and we had to start fixing the water leaks. So I want to thank our facility staff, our emergency management staff, our water distribution, our streets, environmental control, really everybody in public works. There's been a lot that's gone into this, and we know it's not done. Just keep in mind, they're doing their day job and trying to catch up on this too. And so I'm real proud of our staff, and I wanted you guys to be too. I'd be happy to answer your questions. This is just a report, and so I wanted to let you know what we're doing on your behalf.
Do we have any questions for Mr. Miller?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, may I be recognized?
Yes.
On these contractors, Mr. Miller, I'm concerned. I'm concerned about the streets, and I'm also concerned about the water. Now, when we had all these busted pipes, do we have contractors on them helping us, our water department?
Yes, we do.
We do, or we did?
During this, we're talking about the emergency storm damage. We did, yes. We brought them out, and they did a tremendous amount of work. We had a contract in place already for emergency water leaks, and they came out and worked under that contract.
But at this point right now, we don't have contractors helping with our water leaks, correct?
We have a contract we can use throughout the year. We're probably getting close to our limit on the dollar amount on that contract.
Because I think we need to be looking at trying to hire somebody else to help with our water leaks, because I know over in Midland Valley, I know I got 7 leaks in just over in that area I used to live. And they've been leaking quite a while. And I've been told by the city that we lack equipment as far as fixing this stuff. And I'm a living witness to one on the meter yoke the city don't have. That thing has been leaking a month now. It's been a month. But I just want to make sure that we have our employees in place to fix our water lines and keep our city going, and also that we have the material to do this, to keep our city going.
Absolutely.
And at this point here, what I'm saying is that we don't. But like I said before, I would like for the mayor, or, Dr. Hughes, or any other councilman, or Councilman McGee, anybody, we need to go down to the water department, and we need to talk to those individuals. I can't talk to them but you can talk for us, Mr. Miller. Yes. And I'll set up a meeting one day so we can go down there and see what the problem is, because we're not really getting these leaks fixed like they say they are.
Yes. So, Councilor Vann, I would absolutely agree with you on several of those things, and the one being that in the last 2 months we've been working on emergency leaks. So if you had a leak 2 months ago and you reported it, you might still have trouble, because we got about a year's worth of leaks in about a week. So we're struggling, and that's why we brought the contractor in to try to catch up. And I absolutely agree with you. We do have open positions in our water distribution right now. So these are all things we can do. I do want to keep our focus on the storm recovery as our agenda item is, but I'll be happy to address your overall issues, absolutely.
I appreciate that, Mr. Miller, because like I said, the water employees, they do a very outstanding job. And the contractors, I'm pretty sure, but they've done a very outstanding job. But like I say, we still need some more help to get these water situations under control. That's all I ask.
Yep.
For our citizens and my
And
constituents.
let me
All
just,
our constituents.
yeah, and I think the council, if we had not done, staff recommended and the council wisely approved us to have this emergency contract in place, and we did that this time last year. If that was not in place, we would be in a whole lot worse shape than we are right now. So I want to thank you guys for doing that, for having that foresight to put in that emergency contract that we were able to use during this winter storm. So that being said, I do think we've got a lot of opportunity moving forward with FEMA and our insurance to try and get us back on track. And very proud of what our staff has done with the resources available.
I turn the floor back over to you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Van. Any other questions for Mr. Miller? We don't have any citizens signed up to speak on tonight. We will go to item number 15.
Consider an executive session to discuss and take possible action on the following. A, pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25, Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss the workers' compensation claim of Gregory Davis, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session. B, pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25, Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss the workers' compensation claim of Robin Orman, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session. C, pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25, Oklahoma statutes, consider convening an executive session to discuss the lawsuit styled Jerry Vaughn versus City of Muskogee, CJ-2007-1371, filed in the District Court in and for Muskogee County, Oklahoma, and if necessary, take appropriate action in open session.
We will now entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Move for approval.
Second.
Roll call.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes, I'm going to ask that you all will please excuse us while we go into executive session at this time. We will now reconvene from executive session. Roll call.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Here.
Ivory Van.
Here.
Jamie Stout.
Here.
Evelyn Hibbs. Alex Reynolds. Stephanie Morgan.
Here.
Tracy McGee.
Here.
Tracy Hoos.
Here.
Mr. Tucker.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 15A, pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, the council did convene an executive session to discuss the workers' compensation claim of Gregory Davis. After being briefed on the status of that claim, I believe an appropriate motion would be to approve authorizing the city attorney to settle the claim of Mr. Davis in the amount discussed within executive session.
Do we have a motion?
Second.
Roll call.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes, Mr. Tucker.
Item 15A, pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, the council convened an executive session to discuss the workers' compensation claim of Robin Orman. After being briefed on the status of the claim, I believe an appropriate motion would be to authorize the city attorney to settle the claim of Ms. Orman in the amount discussed in executive session.
Do we have a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Properly moved in second. Roll call.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Evelyn Hibbs. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes. Mr. Tucker.
Item C, pursuant to Section 307B4, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes, the City Council convened an executive session to discuss the lawsuit styled Deary Vaughn versus City of Muskogee, CJ 2007-1371, within the District Court in and for Muskogee County. After being briefed on the status of this ongoing litigation, no action is necessary at this time. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Tucker. We are adjourned.